You know what's crazy? There are people making $3,000 a month who are slowly building wealth. And there are people making $10,000 a month who are completely financially trapped. Same economy, same inflation, same prices, completely different outcome. And the difference is almost never intelligence. It's not talent. It's not even income most of the time. It's structure. Look, most people think money problems are income problems. They think the solution is I just need to earn more. Bigger salary, bigger business, bigger side hustle. But here's the thing nobody wants to admit. If your money disappears now, more money usually just disappears faster. That's the uncomfortable truth. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about money systems, financial psychology, and why normal people stay stuck financially for decades, even when their income increases. If you're someone who works hard, gets paid, and still somehow feels behind every month, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Here's what most people don't realize. Financial stress is usually not caused by lack of income first. It's caused by uncontrolled cash flow. Money comes in with no direction, no assignments, no system, no automation, no structure. So your income behaves like water dumped onto the floor. It spreads everywhere, randomly.
Think about the average paycheck cycle. Someone gets paid Friday morning, they feel rich for maybe 48 hours. Then the withdrawals begin. Rent, food delivery, car payment, subscriptions, credit cards, online shopping, random impulse spending, coffee, convenience spending. By the middle of the month, the account balance already looks damaged. By the last week, people start surviving emotionally instead of financially. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but that's because people don't make enough. Sometimes, yes, obviously low income creates real problems, but that's not the full story. Because lifestyle inflation destroys people at every income level. According to lending data and consumer finance studies, nearly 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And here's the shocking part. A large percentage of those people are high earners, six-figure salaries, professionals, business owners, people driving luxury cars and wearing expensive watches while secretly panicking every month. Why? Because expenses expand to match income almost automatically.
Here's a simple example. Someone makes $4,000 per month. They spend $3,900. Then they get promoted and start making $7,000. What happens? Bigger apartment, better car, more subscriptions, more eating out, more convenience spending, better phone, better vacations. Now they spend $6,800 instead. Income went up 75%. Financial stress barely changed. This is where it gets really interesting. Human beings are terrible at managing financial expansion emotionally. Our brains adapt to comfort extremely fast. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. The moment your life improves, your brain normalizes it immediately. That upgraded lifestyle stops feeling luxurious very quickly and starts feeling necessary. That's why people say things like, I don't know where my money goes. Actually, they do know. The problem is that individually, every expense feels small and emotionally justified. Collectively, they destroy wealth creation. A $12 subscription feels harmless. A $20 food delivery feels harmless. A $50 impulse purchase feels harmless. But repeated across months and years, these small leaks become massive.
Let's do the math. If someone wastes $20 per day on unnecessary spending, that's $600 per month, $7,200 per year. Invested with average market returns over 20 years, that amount becomes hundreds of thousands of dollars. Small daily behavior creates giant long-term outcomes. But people don't think long-term because modern financial systems are designed to encourage short-term dopamine. Every app wants instant spending. Every company wants recurring subscriptions. Every advertisement is engineered to trigger emotional buying before rational thinking activates. Your brain is literally fighting billion-dollar psychological systems every day. Look around carefully. Most businesses are not competing for your attention anymore. They are competing for your automatic financial behavior.
That's why convenience became expensive. One-click purchases, auto renewals, buy now, pay later systems, invisible subscriptions, frictionless spending. The less time you think, the more money leaves your account. And here's the dangerous part. Digital spending doesn't feel painful. Researchers studying behavioral finance discovered people spend significantly more money using cards and digital payments compared to cash. Why? Because physical pain signals decrease when money becomes abstract. Swiping doesn't emotionally register like handing over physical bills. That means modern consumers are psychologically disconnected from spending. Now, combine that with stress, exhaustion, social comparison, and algorithmic advertising. You don't have a spending problem anymore. You have an environment engineered to extract money automatically. Which is exactly why more income alone does not fix financial instability. Look, if your financial foundation has holes, pouring more money into it changes nothing. Imagine trying to fill a bucket full of holes. More water doesn't solve the problem. You patch the holes first. This is where financially stable people behave differently from financially stressed people. Stable people create systems before increasing lifestyle. Most people reverse that process. They upgrade lifestyle first and hope future income catches up later. That's why raises disappear, bonuses disappear, tax returns disappear, business growth disappears. Because unmanaged money naturally spreads toward consumption. Here's what wealthy people understand that average earners often miss. Money needs a job before it arrives. Every dollar entering your life should already know where it's going. If not, emotions decide for you. And emotions are expensive. People buy emotionally and justify logically afterward. That's why someone buys a luxury car and says, I deserve it. Or buys expensive clothes and says, it's an investment in myself. Sometimes that's true. Most of the time, it's emotional spending disguised as logic. Now, I'm not saying never enjoy money. That's not the point. The point is control. Because without control, your financial life becomes reactive instead of strategic. Here's what most people don't realize. Wealth creation is mostly boring. It's automation, repetition, controlled behavior, delayed gratification, consistency, not excitement. The internet makes wealth look dramatic. Huge wins, crypto explosions, overnight success. But most real wealth is built through slow, organized systems repeated for years. And honestly, that's good news. Because it means financial stability is more predictable than people think. Let's talk about the actual solution. You do not need more money first. You need a money operating system. You need structure. Here's the basic framework. First, money must stop leaking randomly. That means awareness. Most people never track anything because they're afraid of what they'll discover. But numbers remove emotional illusions. If you spend $500 monthly on convenience spending, that's not a personality trait. That's a measurable cash flow problem. Second, money must become automated. Automation beats motivation every single time. People fail financially because they rely on discipline forever. Discipline fades. Systems continue working. That's why automatic transfers are powerful psychologically. The moment income arrives, percentages move automatically towards savings, investing, and emergency reserves before emotions interfere. Now, you might be thinking, but I barely make enough already. That's exactly why structure matters even more. Because people with weak systems become financially destroyed by emergencies. A flat tire becomes debt. A medical issue becomes panic. Job loss becomes catastrophe. Not because they're lazy, because they have zero financial buffer. This is where emergency funds completely change psychological behavior. Studies repeatedly show financial stress damages decision-making quality. People under constant financial pressure make shorter-term choices, more impulsive purchases, and worse strategic decisions overall. Financial instability literally reduces cognitive performance. So when people say money doesn't matter, that's nonsense. Money affects stress levels, decision quality, relationship stability, sleep quality, and long-term planning capacity. But again, the answer is not just earn more. The answer is controlled financial infrastructure. Think about companies. Large, successful businesses track every dollar carefully. They forecast cash flow. They separate accounts. They allocate capital strategically. They reduce unnecessary leakage. But individuals? Most people run their personal finances with zero system whatsoever. Everything mixed together. One account, random spending, emotional reactions, no forecasting. Then they wonder why money disappears. This is where it gets really interesting. The goal is not saving money forever. The goal is redirecting money toward assets. There's a huge difference.
Poor financial systems consume income. Strong financial systems convert income into future cash flow. That's the game. Because active income alone has limits. Your time is limited. Your energy is limited. Your attention is limited. Assets remove those limits slowly over time. An asset is anything producing value or cash flow without requiring constant direct labor from you. Investments, businesses, royalties, real estate, dividend-producing assets, digital products, automated systems. The reason financially intelligent people obsess over assets is simple. Assets separate time from income. That changes everything. Because if you stop working tomorrow and all income stops instantly, you do not own a system. You own a job. Now, again, this doesn't happen overnight. People romanticize passive income way too much online. Real asset building usually starts slowly. But slow systems become powerful because of compounding. Compounding is one of the most misunderstood forces in finance. Small, consistent investments look meaningless early on. Then, suddenly, growth accelerates dramatically later. For example, investing $500 monthly with average long-term market returns can become hundreds of thousands over time. Not because the monthly amount is huge, because time multiplies consistency. But most people interrupt compounding constantly. They panic, withdraw early, overspend, restart from zero repeatedly.
That's why financial success often looks simple, but feels emotionally difficult. You're fighting your own impulses. The modern world trains people to consume immediately. Wealth building requires the opposite psychology: delayed gratification. And yes, that sounds boring, because it is. But boring systems create stable lives. Look carefully at financially successful people. Many of them do not look rich online. They drive normal cars, live below their means, invest consistently, avoid unnecessary debt, ignore status competition. Meanwhile, many financially stressed people look wealthy temporarily while secretly drowning in obligations. Appearance and financial stability are completely different things. A financed luxury car is not wealth. An expensive apartment is not wealth. Designer clothes are not wealth. Wealth is ownership, cash flow, assets, freedom, low stress, optionality. That's it. And here's something people hate hearing. Most financial problems are behavioral before they become mathematical.
People already know basic financial advice. Spend less than you earn. Avoid bad debt. Invest consistently. Build emergency savings. The issue is not information scarcity. The issue is behavioral inconsistency.
That's why systems matter more than motivation. Motivation creates temporary action. Systems create permanent behavior. Here's a practical example. Imagine two people, both making $5,000 monthly. Person A spends emotionally and saves whatever remains accidentally. Person B automates. 10% investing, 10% emergency reserves, controlled spending limits, fixed asset allocation. 10 years later, their lives look completely different, despite identical income. Not because one was smarter, because one had a system. This is why financially organized people often appear lucky. What you're actually seeing is accumulated stability from repeated small decisions. And here's another important point. Money should create flexibility, not pressure. If higher income only creates bigger obligations, you are not financially improving. You are increasing dependency. That's dangerous. True financial progress means your monthly obligations become easier to carry relative to income, not harder.
The internet constantly sells extreme lifestyles, but financially, simplicity is powerful. A person with moderate expenses and strong assets is often more financially secure than someone earning triple the income with massive obligations, because survival cost matters. The lower your mandatory monthly expenses relative to income, the more powerful your position becomes. That creates resilience. And resilience matters more than flexing online. Because economies change, jobs disappear, industries collapse, recessions happen. People with no financial structure break quickly under pressure. People with reserves, automation, and assets survive much more easily. This is why cash flow matters more than appearances. Most people are chasing income. Financially intelligent people are building systems. That's the shift. And honestly, once you understand this, everything changes psychologically. You stop asking, how can I buy more? You start asking, how can this money produce future value? That question changes behavior automatically. Suddenly, impulse purchases feel expensive differently. Not because of the price itself, because of the opportunity cost. A $1,000 impulse purchase is not just $1,000. It's the future growth that money could have created. That's how financially strategic people think.
Not emotionally, structurally. Now, does this mean never enjoying life? Of course not. The point is intentional spending instead of unconscious spending. Spend aggressively on what genuinely matters to you. Cut ruthlessly what doesn't. Because random spending destroys long-term freedom faster than low income does. And freedom is the real goal here. Not flexing, not pretending, not performing wealth online. Real freedom means emergencies don't destroy you. Bills don't control your emotions. Time becomes flexible. Work becomes optional eventually. Stress decreases. Decisions improve. That's what money systems actually buy. Peace, not just stuff. So if you remember one thing from this video, remember this. You do not need more money first. You need controlled cash flow, automation, financial structure, asset creation, reduced leakage, long-term systems. Because without systems, more income simply creates bigger chaos. But with systems, even average income can slowly create real stability. And honestly, that realization is one of the most important financial lessons a person can learn. Stop focusing only on earning more. Start building a system capable of keeping and multiplying what you already earn. That's when money finally stops controlling you.